Hello everyone, welcome to the channel InfoFinMatics. Hi, myself Lokesh Daga, Maths Educator. So today I am here with one more video on Cambridge Mathematics. So we know October and November series results are out and I am talking about AS and A level results. And some of my AS level students asked me, sir, can you solve the October-November series mathematics paper, pure mathematics, P1? So they were saying that the paper was relatively difficult or challenging, or it was quite different from the past year papers that they have practiced. So I thought, okay, let's give it a try. So I solved that paper and I want to discuss, okay, what was relatively different as compared to past year papers, and also I am going to share some of my inputs and secrets which you can apply while solving the paper. So without wasting much time, let's start paper solving. Okay, so we have the paper with us. This is paper variant 12 and series is October-November 2021, and this is pure mathematics paper 1. And the most important thing which I like to share with my student is that always read the instruction and make sure that you give your answer in 3 significant figures and 1 decimal places for the angles, because at times we may lose marks for the accuracy part. Rest, it's kind of general instructions. Paper is of 75 marks. Marks are shown in the bracket. Okay, let's start with the question 1. Now this is based on the topic trigonometry and quadratic equations. So you have to be good with both the topics. Solve the equation this, and this is very important over here. So whenever you are solving questions related to angles, always note or make sure that what is the range of your angle. Now simply if you multiply the whole equation by cos theta, so you will get an equation that is a quadratic equation in terms of cos theta. Now over here, for your reference, either you can assume your cos theta to be x or y or z, or you can make a quadratic equation in terms of x, y and z, and you can solve it further. Or if you are comfortable with it, you can start directly solving using the concept of middle term splitting over here, MTS, middle term splitting. So once you know the factors, you can simply put on the factors and simplify. Now this 2 brackets, multiplication of this 2 bracket is 0. Now cos theta minus 3 is equals to 0. This is not possible. Why? Because we know that the value of cos theta always lies between -1 to 1. So cos theta cannot be more than 1. So this part is not possible. Now only possibility is that this 2 cos theta minus 1 is equals to 0, which gives us cos theta is equals to half. We know when cos theta is half. So cos theta is half in, first is your values are positive. Okay, cos theta is half. Second, your range is from -90 to 90, and in both the quadrants cos is positive. So you will get 2 answers for this. So one in first quadrant, which is 60 degree, and one in your fourth quadrant, which is -60 degree. So both of these answers are correct. Clear? So I don't think this question was difficult, simply a scoring question based on trigonometry and quadratic equations. Okay, now transformation of the graphs. This at times I find student finds difficulty in solving this kind of questions, transformations. Now, but if I suggest that if we break down our transformations and try to figure out what are the steps of our transformation, then you will be easily able to identify how many transformation are involved, what kind of transformation is involved. Okay, for example, over here that your graph y is equals to fx is transformed into y is equals to f of 2x minus 3. Now they have mentioned there are 2 single transformations. Okay, Now if we go step by step over here, from fx, if I know my first transformation is f of 2x. Now whenever you change the values inside, it's a stretch factor, it's a stretch transformation, and in which direction? Whenever you change inside, it should be in x direction. Okay, now since you have multiplied your values of x by 2, so whatever your graph, if your graph was something like this, you have multiplied it by 2, your graph will come closer to y-axis, so its a scale factor would be half. It would be coming closer. Okay, now simply f of 2x minus 3, you know, you are changing, you are just translating the graph in y direction. There is no change in x direction. So you can simply write down translation by 0, -3. Quite simple, 3 marks for writing the translations. Yeah, this question may be little challenging or difficult, but once you know the concepts involved, you can retrace and get the value. Okay, now the point 5, 6 lies on the transformed curve. So you need to find what would be the points on your y is equals to fx. So we go reverse order. First was the translation in y-axis, that is -3. So reverse would be translation in y-axis +3. So if your point was 5, 6, so if I do translation by +3, my new point in y direction would be 9. Yes or no? Now scale factor is half. Means whatever value you were getting at initially at 10, now you are getting at 5 because your scale factor is half. So simply if you multiply your scale factor, means reverse, half means multiplied by 2. So you'll get your new points, that is 10, 9. So you don't have to justify, this is just for your understanding. But if you simply write down that the coordinates of the given point on the graph y is equals to fx would be 10, 9, you will score full marks for the same. Okay. Now this is very simple base questions on again topic functions. Now over here there are two different ways of doing this. You can first calculate f of fx, make a combined function, then substitute the value 5 in this. Or you can go other way around. First calculate f of 5. Now in the given function f of 5 which is equals to 2, substitute the value f2, you will get your answer. Easy, simple. We know how composite functions works. Now inverse of the function. See, there may be different ways of solving a particular question. I am just sharing my particular way, how I am solving the questions. Okay, generally what we do over here is change x with y and y with x. This is how we do when we have to find out the inverse of a function. But my idea is, see, your function is, when a function is given to you, what is your subject? Y is equals to something. So your subject is y. Yes. Now if you have to calculate inverse function, now your subject changes to x. So simply of using this part, I just try to make x as my subject of the function. So when you cross multiply this and rearrange the terms, all the x terms on one side, so we'll get x equals to y plus 3 divided by y minus 1. So now I can say, okay, this is my new inverse function. So I'll write down inverse function, that is x plus 3 divided by x minus 1. Simple as it is. And if you observe, both the functions are same, your inverse and function. Okay, question number 4. The curve is such that dy by dx is given to you. The curve passes through the point. Find the equation of the curve. Okay, first thing, find the equation of the curve, which means what I have to do is integration. First is always read the question carefully. Figure out the process or the steps. Once you know the process or the steps, it becomes very easy to solve questions. Dy by dx is given to you and the curve is passing through the point. The first step, we need to integrate this. If you integrate with respect to x, I have just not written this step. So this is simply On left hand side you will have y, and I have written 3x plus 2 in exponent form. So whenever, if you take from denominator and numerator, so it's a reciprocal, so power would be negative. Now we know the concept x to the power n integration is x to the power n plus 1 whole divided by n plus 1. So using this concept, if you do this part, but over here be careful, this is the part which is important, the bracket. It's 3x plus 2. So you need to integrate the bracket also. So if you remember something as chain rule, so we need to apply chain rule concept over here. So this 1 by 3 comes extra from this chain rule. Now a positive constant c. Now this is your general equation of the curve. This is your general equation of the curve. Whenever you write down the equation of the curve in terms of c, it's a general equation of the curve. But we have information given to us, that is the curve is passing through the point 2, 5, 2 by 3. So simply replacing this point, now replacing x by 2 and y by 5, 2 by 3, you will get your constant. Once you simplify, you will get your constant equals to 6. Now this becomes the particular equation of the curve on the given situation, that the curve is passing through the point 2, 5, 2 by 3. Clear? So I don't think this question was difficult. Very simple integration process was there. Then you just need to substitute the value because the curve is passing through the given point, and you can figure out the value of constant. Just rewrite the equation. You will have the equation of the curve. Yeah. Okay. Question number 5 is based on arithmetic progression, but this time they have made it little interesting by adding trigonometric functions into it. Yes. This may seem little difficult or challenging because numbers are not involved over here. There is trigonometric functions involved over here. But if you know the idea of arithmetic progression, if you have clarity about the concept of arithmetic progression, I don't think this would be difficult. You just need to follow the same steps and you will get your answer. Second important thing is the value of x lies between half to pi. Which quadrant? If you look at half to pi is your second quadrant. Yes? Okay. So these are the information which I got from the question. Now the question says the first term. So first term is A. Question says the third term. So we know how to write down third term in AP. A plus 2D. Simplify. You will get over here. Okay. No problem. Stop. There is one more information given to you, fifth term. So if you write down fifth term, you will get again in terms of AP, how do we write down fifth term? First term plus 4 times of difference. Now if you simplify this, by this we will get the value of D, that your difference is 2 times cos x. Now if I substitute the value of D in this equation and if I start simplifying, so I'll get 10x is equals to negative 1 by root 3. Now plugging this values in the calculator, since your value lies in second quadrant and second quadrant tan is negative, so your answer should be 5 pi by 6. Yes? Clear? Easy? Okay. Now, hence find the exact sum of first 25 terms. If your first part is correct, I don't think you will make mistake in this part, because you know the number of terms over here. You have first term which is 2 cos x, and you have your difference also which is 2 cos x. Now if you substitute the same in the formula, Sn is equals to n by 2 2a plus n minus 1d. So n by 2 2a plus n minus 1d, and if you start simplifying, now from the previous question we know the value of x is 5 pi by 6. So make sure over here your calculator is in radian modes. This is the mistake which student can make, that not changing the calculator in radian and degree with respect to the question. This question, your answer is in radians, so you have to work on radians. Now substitute the value of x, start simplifying, so you'll get the sum as negative 325 root 3. Okay, first part was interesting, but if you know the concept, you can easily do that first part. Once you do the first part, second part becomes very easy. Okay, yeah, this time I would say that the questions on AP and GP were little tricky, but if you know the concept, then it becomes very easy. Now over here also the second term of the GP is given to you. Sum to infinity is this. Now whenever I look in the question, if sum to infinity is given, which means R is less than 1. Because we know the condition of sum to infinity, when your common ratio is less than 1, then only you can apply the formula sum to infinity. Now they have given you further information that the common ratio is greater than half. Okay, no problem. So whatever we know, let's try to apply. So your term 2 in terms of GP, what do you write down is 2A. Term 2 is equals to A into R. Over there in AP we used to plus the difference. Over here we multiply the common ratio. So you know your term 2, which is 54, you know AR, so you can write down this, make A as the subject or R as the subject, whatever you want. Since we need to calculate R, so I made R as the subject of the, A as the subject of the formula. Now sum to infinity, we know the formula from the formula booklet. Now substituting the value of A in this equation, simplifying. So we make a quadratic equation in terms of R. So when you make a quadratic equation in terms of R, means there would be two possible values of R. There may be two possible values of R. Okay. Now if you simplify, you will get two values of R. That is R is equals to 2 by 3 or 1 by 3. Now you will ignore 1 by 3 for the reason because it's given in the question that R is greater than half. That's the reason it was given in the question, that you will get two values of R and we can't take both the values of R and solve the question. That's the reason they gave one more information over there, that R is greater than half, which implies R is equals to 2 by 3. Clear? Once you know the value of R, substitute the value of R in this equation. So you'll get the value of A is 81. Now once you know the value of A81, you can easily figure out the 10th term. So 10th term would be AR raised to 9. So once you multiply in calculator, this is your answer. You can keep your answer in fraction or you can convert this into decimal. I like to keep it in fraction. Clear? Okay, yeah, this question is interesting. And in this question there are lots of concepts involved. Means you can apply Pythagoras theorem over here. Area of sector is there, area of triangle is there, then some logics related to geometry is there. Okay. Now the first part over here is, in the diagram the length AB and AC are both 15 centimeter. Okay. And the point P is the foot of the perpendicular from C to AB. The length of CP is 9. The arc of the circle with center P passes through the point C and meets AB at Q. Okay, these are the information given to us, and they are asking show that the angle ABC is 1.25 radians. Correct to three significant figures. First thing, your calculator is in radians. Okay. Second thing that I need to show this angle. I need to show this angle as 1.25. But if you observe carefully, these two angles would be equal. Base angles of isosceles triangle, because the respective corresponding sides are equal. Okay, which means if I can figure out angle A, then I can easily calculate angle B and C because both of them would be equal. So it becomes very easy. Now how can I figure out angle A then? So if you look at the triangle APC, it's a right angle triangle. Now if this is my angle of reference, I know the opposite side, which is 9 centimeter. I know the hypotenuse, which is 15 centimeter. Now which ratio relates opposite side and hypotenuse? Sine. So I can simply write down sine A is equals to this. Now A is equals to sine inverse this, which gives me value of angle A. Now value of angle B means sum of all the angles of a triangle is 180 degree, but in terms of radian it's pi. So pi minus angle A divided by 2. So if you do pi minus angle A divided by 2, it gives you that angle B is 1.25 radians. So first part is done. Okay. Now second part, it says that calculate the area of shaded region which is bounded by the arc CQ and line CP and PQ. Okay. So let me first erase this part. So see, whenever we are solving the question, first you need to understand what we are supposed to do. If you know the steps, if you know the process, then it becomes very easy. Just like in other subjects we plan our answers, same goes with mathematics. First you need to plan your answer. What you are supposed to do? How would you reach? How would you calculate this area of sector? First thing, area of the shaded region. So first thing that comes is that if I calculate area of sector BQCB, if I calculate the area of sector this, from this sector, if I can subtract this triangle, which means I'll get my required shaded area. First process. Okay. Which means for area of triangle, you know the height, you need to calculate this distance, half into base into height. And for area of sector, you need to have either of the length, either BC or BQ, because we know area of the sector is theta r square by 2. So now first thing is I need to calculate this part. Now how would I do this? How would I start with this? Yes. So what I can do is, using the Pythagoras theorem in triangle APC, I can calculate AP length. Yes. Now once you calculate AP length, PB becomes easy because the total length is 15. From 15, if you subtract AP, you'll get PB. Once you get PB length, then again applying the Pythagoras theorem, you will get BC. So our task is done. Same we have done in the question. So in triangle APC, using Pythagoras theorem, we calculated AP. So once you got the value of AP is 12, now we got the value of PB is 3. Now if you recall that triangle, this is 3, this is 9. So this is the radius of the sector. So using Pythagoras theorem, you calculate it. So radius of the sector is 3 root 10. Now calculating the area of the sector, you know the formula for the area of the sector, theta r square by 2. So which gives you area of the sector is this. Now area of triangle, half times base times height, which gives you this. Now the required shaded area, we have figured out area of sector minus area of triangle. So if you do area of sector minus area of triangle, so this gives you. Now if you see, observe why I have written 42.8 centimeter square, 3 SF. Okay. So make sure you give your answers in 3 SF or 1 decimal place if you are working with angles. So this question was good, interesting. I enjoyed this question. This question was good. Okay. Now this question is based on your binomial expansion. Now over here it's given that 4 plus 2x when multiplied with the expansion of this, that the coefficient of x square is 15. Find the possible values of a. Okay. So what I'll do is, first thing, I'll start with the expansion of this part. I'll expand it till the term x square, because we are supposed to only calculate the coefficient of x square. Now, if you observe carefully, with 4, which term should I multiply in the expansion to get the coefficient of x square? That is this. Because already 4 is a constant over here. So constant multiplied with the x square term will give you x square. Now, with 2x, which term should I multiply? This term should I multiply, because x into x will give me x square. So you know the idea. We are directly comparing the coefficients. So if you directly compare the coefficient, 4 into this term, 2 into this term should be equals to negative 15. Now if you simplify this, it will make a quadratic equation in terms of a. Now if you factorize this, you'll get the value of a is 1 by 8 or 3 by 8. Since nothing else is mentioned about the conditions of a or values of a, both these values are correct. So both of this is your answer. Clear? Okay, now move on to the next part. Now this part is interesting. Now it is given instead of this that the coefficient of x square is k. Last time it was given, it was negative 15. And this also is given that this k is only for one of the value of a. Now this makes it little tricky to understand that there is only one possible values of a. Earlier you were getting two possible values of a for which the coefficient was negative 15. Now they are saying there is only one possible value of a which will give you a coefficient as k. Okay, we don't know what is a and what is k. Okay. Now from the previous question, from the comparison, I know that this is equals to k. Last time it was equals to negative 15. So I rearrange and made it quadratic. Now we know in a quadratic equations, there are three possibilities. That you may have two solutions, you may have one solution, and you may have no real solution. Now you need only one possible value of a. So when do we have one solution in quadratic equation? Try to recall when your discriminant is 0, which means b square minus 4ac is 0. So this is the only thing you need to apply over here. This was the most important point you need to apply over here. So if you apply this part, b square minus 4ac equals to 0. Now substitute it, you will get k equals to negative 20. Once you know the value of k, you again put this in the equation, quadratic, solve, you will get only one value of a. See, there is no two possible values of a. Now, yeah, so the question was find the value of k and a, which we have figured out. Okay, clear? So till now so far it's going good. Okay, question number 9. Now the last 3 questions generally in the paper, last 3 to 4 questions are based on calculus, integration, differentiation, and little bit tricky. Okay, now over here in this the volume is given and this equation of the volume is given, is mounted, and the iron ore is added at a rate of this. So at times by looking at the unit, you know what is given to you. So I know what's given to me, the rate of by which my volume is increasing. Okay, now I know the equation of the volume. Now if I differentiate this equation with respect to t, because I need to figure out the rate at which my radius is increasing when radius is 0.5 centimeter. So which means what I need to figure out is dr by dt. So I have to differentiate it with respect to t. Now if you differentiate this with respect to t, this is what you are supposed to get. Now you know dv by dt is given to you 1.5, radius is given to you 5.5. If you substitute and simplify, you will get the radius is changing at a rate of 1 by 75 meter per second. Clear? Okay. Now in the next question, they are asking is find the volume. Okay, you need to find the volume, and they have given you that the radius is changing at this point of time. But when we are supposed to calculate volume, so first we need to calculate radius also. Now you know what is the information given to you in this question is dr by dt. From previous question you know dv by dr you know. Now relating these two equations, we can get a relation between dv by dr. Yes or no? Equation of volume we know. Now differentiating this equation, with respect to r, what do we get? This. Now you know dv by dr, you just calculated, substitute, figure out the value of r, so you'll get r. Now there are two possible values of r. One is half plus root over 10 by 3. One is half minus root over 10 by root 3. It's one and the same thing. Okay. But if you observe carefully, there is this information given that r is greater than 2. So this part is not possible. So the only possibility is r is half plus root over 10 by 3. Now once you know the value of r, substitute the value of r, calculate the volume. So you'll get your volume. 8.13. If you observe carefully, see all my answers are in 3SF. Okay. I hope that question was clear to you. Now the 10th question, again, if you start reading the 10th question, the function is this. Okay, is given when x is greater than 0, the curve. Okay, stationary point. First thing, stationary point means dy by dx would be 0. And stationary point is when x equals to 2. So what I do? First I differentiate this. Now I know that the curve has a stationary point when x is equals to 2. So stationary point dy by dx is 0. Substitute, you will get the value of k is 16. Very easy and simple question. Okay, nature of stationary point. Nature of stationary point, you know nature. How do we calculate? If your double differentiation is greater than 0, it's point of minima. And if your double differentiation is less than 0, it's point of maxima. Which point? We check at stationary point. Now what was the stationary point in this question? When x equals to 2. So we know dy by dx, double differentiate, you know stationary point is 2. Now if you substitute stationary point 2 in this equation, you will get your double differentiation is greater than 0. So if your double differentiation is greater than 0, means this is point of minima or minimum point. Yes or no? Okay. Now part C. Okay. Now this helps us. All this is connected. You know the stationary point and find the range. And the curve has only one stationary point. And stationary point is the minimum point. Which means at x equals to 2, you will have your minimum value. So substitute x equals to 2 in the function. So if you substitute x equals to 2 in the function, so you'll get f of 2 is equals to 14. Which means your function will always be greater than or equals to 14. It will not go below 14 because your minimum value is 14 only. Na? Okay. Yeah, area under curve. This is very favorite topic. One of my favorite topic. Okay, again, as I say, if you figure out the steps, process, then it becomes very easy to solve. Now, diagram shows the line x is equals to 5, equation of the curve, normal to the curve at point this, and find the x coordinate of the line when it meets x-axis. Okay, you need to find out equation of this line. See, I am going reverse way around. To figure out equation of a line, you need to have slope or gradient. So when the same thing and point. You know the point, that is A, but we don't know the slope and gradient. Okay. Now this is a normal. Normal to what? This line is normal to tangent. Now can you figure out slope of a tangent? Yes, we know slope is also known as dy by dx. So if you differentiate this curve at point A, you will get the slope of the tangent. So once you get the slope of the tangent, negative reciprocal would be slope of normal. You know the slope, you know the point, you can write down the equation of the normal, and this line meets at x-axis, which means y equals to 0. Let's do it. Easy. Now first we know that this is the equation of the curve, dy by dx. Now at x equals to 3, which means your point A, dy by dx means slope of the tangent is 5 by 6. The slope of the normal would be negative reciprocal. Yes. Now for the equation of the normal, you know the slope, you know the points, you can write down equation. Now since this line meets at x-axis, which means y equals to 0, so you got your intercept. That is 4, 0. Easy. So it looks difficult, 5 marks question, but if you break it down into the process, it becomes very easy. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. Find the area of the shaded region. Give your answer to two correct decimal places. This is of 6 marks. So in total 11 marks question. Yeah. So this may be little difficult or challenging, but let's quickly go through. I'll just erase this part. Okay, so I need to find out the area of the shaded region. So if I break this down, this becomes a rectangle. I know this point is 4 and this point x coordinate is 3. So I know the base, I know the height. So this would be half times 1 into 6 by 5. So area of rectangle. Now this I have to calculate, this part. So this, if I have to calculate, if you observe carefully, this is what is bounded by the curve between the points 5 by 2 to 3, which means I need to integrate this curve between the point 5 by 2 to 3. So you'll get the area between this region. Then if you add area of triangle, it becomes easy. Process done. Let's apply. So area under the curve between the points 5 by 2 to 3. Once you integrate, substitute the value upper bound minus lower bound, you'll get this as your answer. Everything is done on calculator. See, all the steps are shown to you. Now area of triangle, which we already did. Now simply add. Now we were supposed to give answer to 2 decimal places. This is your answer to 2 decimal places. Clear? Okay, last question of the paper. Now again, in question number 12, how we are supposed to do is, okay, equation of the circle is given and tangent to circle point this, and we are supposed to find this and this. Again, say related, we need to find out equation of this line. Now let's suppose this is the center. Now if I join this 2 points, we know that the angle between the radius and the tangent is 90 degree. Now let's suppose center is C. So once I figure out the coordinates of the center, coordinates of point P are given to me, I can figure out the slope. Now if I know this slope would be negative reciprocal. I know the points, I can write down equation of line and I can figure out both the intercepts. Yes or no? So doing the same thing, rearranging this, writing the equation of the circle, which gives me the center points, and the radius is root 40 square. So radius is root 40. Now you know the slope of OP. OP over here means center. This is CP, center to point P. Now the slope of the tangent would be negative reciprocal. Now you know the point, that is 5, 4, equation of the tangent. Now you know x-intercept means y equals to 0, which gives you this. Y-intercept means x equals to 0, which gives you this. And you need to figure out area of triangle OAB, which is half into base into height. Very easy, very simple. But decode the process. Last part of this question and last question of the paper. It's good. Point QR lie on the circle such that PQR is an equilateral triangle. Find the exact area of the triangle PQR. Okay. No problem. Okay. Let me erase this part. Because, okay. Now, if I look at this part, this is an equilateral triangle, which means all angles are 60 degree. Now, so angle at the center would be 120 degree. Logic you know. Angle at the center is double the angle at the circumference. Okay. Now, if I draw a perpendicular over here, so this angle would be 60 degree. You know the radius, that is R. So I can figure out this length, x to q. So R to q would be double of this. Now once you know one of the side of a triangle, equilateral triangle, then you can apply the formula half into side square into sine 60. Yes or no? Just we are going to do the same. Radius of the circle we know. This is from the triangle we figure out the value of qx. Then RQ would be double of this. Now once you know one of the side of equilateral triangle, so all the 3 sides are equal. So area of triangle is half times side into sine 60. Substitute the value. you'll get 30 square units. So this was your paper, now done. So I hope you enjoyed the solution of the paper. I hope you got to know something new and learn some new techniques how to solve questions in exam. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have liked this video, please subscribe to the channel, like the video and share it with your friends. Thank you. Have a nice day.